Look at my mess. This is take 2 of what I'm calling HamShack 2.0. It's been a few months since I've been on the air. A few months since I've recorded a video and released a video of any substance. Many have been asking what's going on, where are you at, is everything okay? The answer is everything's been great. It's been a great 2024. My son got engaged late last year. We planned and executed a wedding. His wife graduated college. She graduated with her medical degree and is now a doctor. She's now starting her internship in Tennessee. So, what have we done? Yep, my son we planned and executed a marriage, planned and executed a graduation. They had to pack up and move out of their house in Miami up to Nashville. He has a home in his home. They were renting in Miami, so his home was in down here south by the Cape. And well, we had to go in. We tore out the kitchen and the bath and completely redid everything. New cabinets, new countertops, new appliances, painted the fireplace, cleaned up the yard, got it all set for a long-term renter, so that while they're gone, somebody's going to take care of the house and at least paying the mortgage or covering part of it. So it's been a busy year. On top of that, Shack 2.0 has been happening. As I'm setting up and building this shack, it's going through several reconfigurations, kind of in real time. And that's what you're seeing around me now is a mess about this. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of take you around the shack, try not to trip over the mess, show you what I've been working on and where we're going. Please, any comments, just put them in the link below. If there's anything you want me to deep dive on, show you more. Okay, what are you doing there? Why are you doing that? Please do so. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. Let's walk you through it. So here's kind of a sweeping view of the shack from the other angle. That's my workbench over there. Here's the main operating system of the 7851. I should probably turn that on so it's lit up so you can see it better. But the 758.1 there, 7851 icon. Above that is a panoramic display, which I like to use for that radio. A radio that size deserves a big display. And then above that are 4 smaller displays, which will be housing my Hermes light transceiver. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Hermes light, it's a full-blown SDR transceiver running out of Thesis software, but in kit form. So you're going to build this thing and modify it to suit your needs. I really haven't started the assembly yet, but I have started loading the software and things. To the right there is my 7-foot rack, which houses my amplifiers on the top and some power supply stuff on the bottom. Next to this, you'll see 3 more displays. These ones are kind of loosely associated with the 9700 sitting there on the bench. The 9700 has got an IF tap in it so that I can have a full waterfall display on one of these displays. I also have the ham, what do they call this thing, the ham dashboard running. And then over on this one, typically the SAT controller for modern satellites. And then above that, which is not turned on yet, is my big TV, and that's got ham clock running or the geoclock. New addition to the shack, which has kind of been working on in the background, is the Icon 7000. Let's see if I can get a picture of this. Let me turn this off. No, that doesn't help. So that's the Icon 7000. Right now it's in scan mode, scanning some VHF and UHF repeaters and the marine channels around here. I just live a couple miles off the coastal. I love this little radio. It does give you a port on the back to run a larger display, and I like doing that. I have also taken the time in the last couple months and built these little speakers, companion speakers, because all my radios I do like to have the matching companion. They're the matching speakers for the 9700 and, of course, the 7851. Nothing's really lined and straight right now because just a few hours ago I was climbing behind all this equipment. With the 7000, I'm going to do an IF tap on it like we did the 9700 so that I can put a SDR spectrum display on it as well. And it's going to run my digital modes that run by one of the Raspberry Pis. That's why you see the Rig Blaster there, but I also have other alternatives if I don't want to use the Rig Blaster. Finally, I do a little bit of audio processing on it. This is a cheap little eBay find. Comes out of Ukraine. It's just an excellent little 8-band graph equalizer that I drive off the microphone. The other two rigs are run off of a single microphone, my Shure here, SM7B. I've got some audio processing in the store that's going to be moved to a rack shortly, and I'll go over that. So why don't we move over there? My 7-foot rack goes through my desktop. At the bottom, underneath the desk, we'll show you in a second, is basically DC power supply and power management for the whole shack. Above it, I've got my Alpha 87 amplifier, my rig runner, power distribution monitor from West Mountain Radio. Underneath there is backup battery and a charger and my power supply. We'll get to that under the bench. Above that is my next amplifier. That's for my 2 meters. The legal limit, 70 centimeters. That can be 500 watts and 600 watts on 1296. And then finally at the very top is that's my power station monitor. It just shows me the voltage and amperage putting out by my power supply. And the voltage and amperage is being put out by the battery. Should I be on backup battery, be charging the battery, or whatever, that'll show up. So, what's your next? Audio equipment. So this is my my receive audio processing. I have, again, 8-band graphic equalizer and some speaker controls and rig controls. Either one of my rigs can feed into this, and then there are plenty of speakers throughout the shack here. 4 in the ceiling, a subwoofer underneath, and of course the side speakers. So I get a pretty good immersed sound and sound quality. If you haven't ever put an outboard graphic equalizer on your rig, you got to try it. It's just amazing. You don't have to drive the audio as hard in the rig, and you get plenty of selectivity of tuning up the bass and treble to your likings, especially as I get older. What's happening over here is this is going to become my audio center. It's a very small tabletop 19-inch rack. I've got some power distribution. There's some mic processing there. In my 19-inch rack, you can see my Spectrum Analyzer for audio. If you're talking, hello, radio, testing 1, 2, 3. Anyhow, this will get moved over to there, and then as well as everything in this drawer. So I will cut the custom face plates for that rack, mount those things so they're rack mounted back there. So that's going to keep me off the air a little longer, but that's probably the next part of the project. Under the bench, new addition, is what somebody dubbed as my data center. So we call it the data center. I have moved all the shack's computing horsepower into one location. So at the very top, you'll see a bunch of Ethernet cables. It's amazing how fast Ethernet stacks up in the bench when you start adding digital modes, computers, monitors, TVs. 7851 and the 9700 both have their own Ethernet jack on the back. So I'm about 17 Ethernet connections and climbing. Below that is my network switch. Kind of keeps me monitoring who's doing what kind of bandwidth. I have recently dug a trench from the building here to the main house, and we're feeding the shack now with fiber optics from the main house. It was just too long of a run for Ethernet. Below that is where the information in the data center starts. I've got 4 Raspberry Pis. One of them will be running, I think they call it 73 Linux. It used to be called BuilderPi. Then I'm going to have the HamPi, and then DigiPi. So those 3 things will be running those 3 modes. The 4th one here has got a hat on it for double SDR. I think it was advertised as the radar SDR. So this will allow me to monitor the aircraft. There is a local flight school and a university for aeronautics university in the area. So we get plenty of aircraft traffic and plenty to listen to and watch. Below that are my Windows rigs. These are two little mini computers. Can you see them there? Yeah, kind of. They've got 8 core processors in them and a very good graphics card. The one on the right here that you're looking at now actually drives all those displays up there. We'll run the SDR for the 9700, the SAT control, and everything else, my logging software, and just general purpose computing. It also, the fourth monitor is this little one down here where I can keep the desktop running and make any adjustments or have any warning, any error messages that I want to pop up will pop up here. The second one here is running those 4 displays. And this one, that's the 5th one. And that's going to run my Hermes Light SDR transceiver, as well as some associated software for pure signal and some of the processing. The Hermes Light also has a sound card for it, and that's my sound card for processing Hermes Light. None of this stuff is hooked up right now, of course, but that'll be it. It'll be fed off of the same microphone here, and then just fed into the sound card of the computer, so that it can be digitized or processed and sent out over the air. Oh, where else are we? Yeah, the mess is just got enough where I can make a recording. You know, I guess you guys all know what I'm talking about when you get through this. Let's see, my AM station is still sitting on the by-and-by, but I've got an old Holocrafters S38. I've got the matching variable frequency oscillator and keyer for those still doing Morse code, as well as a transmitter. Good old HT40 there. So that's main purpose is for AM radio night. And there's days you want to get on. And I do have crystal control as well as the BFO for it, but mostly I just use the crystal. Above that is my early sideband rig. This is a 1964, I believe, sideband engineering model S33 transceiver, Daiwa auto tuner, and Swan power meter, and a Swan 1200 amplifier. That all kind of guys play very nicely together when I want to do some classic antique nights. And there's my short microphone that I use for those 2 rigs. Alright, this is getting kind of long. Where are we at now? It's already been over 10 minutes. I don't want to keep you much longer. This is my mess of the shack, the bench. This is where all the magic happens, of course. You got a solder coax, connectors, small circuit boards. I have the ability to do some surface mount heating technology. Of course, all my soldering. Down here I have a oscilloscope. You know, these things are so cheap now compared to what they used to be. But there's my simple oscilloscope. Above that's LCR meter. You know, the more and more you play with filters, balance, chokes, anything, you know, it's just so nice. You run the calculation, you turn the number of turns on the choke, you measure it, verify you got what you want, or same with capacitance. You build a filter, and it just works. Above that is a bench, DVM. Really didn't need this. This is kind of an impulse buy. You know, I've got a handheld DVM, but it's always nice to have one on the bench, wired up and ready to go at any time. And then above that is my signal generator or programmable signal generator, waveform generator. They use fancy names for it, but basically I can make an AM, FM, sideband, any kind of modulation I want to create. I can sweep some frequencies, or I can sweep with this as a sweep generator for sweeping filters. So with all this equipment, I can take care of most of the stuff that an amateur is going to need to do. Beyond that, you got to get a professional, right? So that's the progress of the shack. I think I covered everything. Did I cover the 7,000? If not, say so, and I'll come back over to the 7,000 over there. I somehow think I forgot the 7,000. All right, let's do the 7,000. Now we did the 7,000. I didn't forget it.